Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and do another video again. But y'all messed up. I need to figure out how to put my shit back quickly. Like in a split second, but it's hard. It's mad hard. I feel like I'm losing entity attachments, roach attachments. I kept hearing that Meghan Markle talking all in my consciousness, and using 8127 hertz early this morning, along with 1.5 million hertz. So spirit guide or a higher self, which I don't have at this point, will need to help you out with that to remove her. They've been trying to remove desperately my child consciousness along with my connection to my dad. And it's my connection to God, my father, Napoleon Williams Jr. And they haven't been having much of luck. With that being said, it's just stressing every single day. I saw timelines, people in that August 22nd, 2022 timeline, and I saw a good friend of mine's living in the mansion, as I've been told. You can't negate that. He used to help me out. He was pretty poor. He paid, I think, $500 for his apartment in Santa Monica. And he's doing very, very well. All these people doing well at my expense. And I shut down, with something like that. When you see something that's very incontrovertible, I know you have to deal with reality, man, but that's a hard fucking pill to, reality to swallow. The notion, the fact that you got soda swap, that's just hard. It's something that's hard to come to terms with. It's something that's hard to deal with. And then to be getting mauled by the fucking Illuminati and having your frequency, access to frequency in your own fucking body, fucked with. I lost Bare Insanity and all of that. I was playing them whatchamacallit for the rooms. 3.2 or 3.5 hertz combined with 3.7 hertz. It was removing it from their consciousness. I was playing 1150 hertz, which, gets stuff that's hard to find in the spirit plane right back. In conjunction with 3002 hertz. And for the Mayate, since she part nigga, Meghan Markle, 5302 hertz, 5300 hertz. Along with for the crackers, since it's Illuminati, that can fuck them up internally, 1488 hertz, along with 1488 2 hertz. They did something in the spirit plane to set it up so that 1248 hertz, I don't know how true it is, combined with 2160 hertz could work against me instead of with me. And I felt it early this morning. I was playing 1248 hertz and that had a major impact. Couldn't hear anything from my spirit team, spirit guides, and all of that. I keep having my Archangel Michael getting snatched up, and I just need something that can fucking build me up mad quick, get me out of the situation. I almost want to just, post post frequency. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and post. You know, with that being said, it's really, really hard. I keep trying to throw away my child consciousness, soul consciousness, and I need to get these bullies up out of my energy. You know, they got frequencies you could play, you know, to quell that. So I got the 12,000 hertz combined with 1 million hertz on my playlist called Frequencies to Combat Curse, along with 12,000 combined with 6,000 hertz and all that shit. Got something to do with this phone and shit. But anyways, with that being said, I feel all drained out. It was getting mad fucking dangerous. I'm not gonna lie, to the point where I felt like I almost died. Like when I was doing the video yesterday, that's why it's all fucked up. I felt my bones, my, you know, spirit bones, which you know, were pretty physical, you know, almost get pulled out. Along with other entity attachments, like I say, they did something. I thought I was correcting it early this morning. 694, 695 hertz to C, 1181 hertz if necessary. The Illuminati did where they took over my entity attachments. You know, you can use 114 hertz to put something back into an entity attachment. But with that, I was using 3002 hertz combined with 1150 hertz. And 1.7 million hertz. You can also just use them by themselves to find the shit. And I was just like, no, we putting everything back. I was using that frequency for a hot minute, and I stopped when Baron Salmon, he was correct. He was like, you know, you try to get your shit back, they all fucked up. Them evil ass people set it up so that, you know, your soul, you know, you ain't gonna get your correct soul. It's gonna be somehow what you were calling with them. My poor brother in that timeline saw it. You know, as a matter of fact, speaking of which, I had a dream about my brother Kristen. How the fuck I could forget? I think his name was Grigori Rasputin. Let me look at it. You know, I guess it's all that's what's left of my consciousness. I was in like a semi-classroom that was green, very, very dark green, and it was, you know, kind of like in the basement. And I had a Kit Kat bar, and I was like, hey, I need, you know, help. I need help. And my brother Kristen came over, who died tragically at the hands of Andrew Mountbatten York, who I've been trying to fucking get. You know, again, I talked about in the video yesterday, me almost annulling the soul contract that they had. You know, what the fuck is going on in the spirit plane. I'm so fucked up I can't see clearly. where I freed Pine Dar. I don't know if they using my entity attachment against me or what. I don't know what the fuck is going on. Who was made a sacrifice by the Seer cars and came very, very close to freeing people, from the Illuminati. I saw in the spirit plane, I freed a bunch of royals, Habsburgs, a bunch of people, a bunch of old royals, Romanovs, supposed to be related to, what's that man name, who was very, very famous. He was known for having a big dick and smelling real foul like I do, but he was a real spiritualist. What's that man name? His name on the tip of my motherfucking tongue. Actually the name of a type of entities in the spirit plane, the Grigori, the Watchers, they call them. I actually saw them at the beginning. You got the tall redheads, and then you got the blacks who are Dr. York, ironically, like that asshole who I was told they cut up my brother, cut his head off, peeled off his skin while he was fucking fully conscious. Bitch who, stole my body as well. Her name was, Asa Sneehouse. Or I got a Beatrice or Brianna. She fucked up a little entity attachment that was a part of it last night so she could replace it with the Illuminati. But I got an Ace of Sneehouse. I've been trying to revive him using 3517 hertz. I've been adding 1.7 million to it, but 3517 hertz, 17800 hertz. That's not. Just how bad the Illuminati fucked up my body in the spirit plane. I can't even use 117 hertz combined with 800 hertz to put myself back together because they got my shit fucked up from the other day. A couple of days ago where they destroyed my body. And they were giving her my full-fledged soul consciousness powers, and saying even though you got a soul contract, you ain't got no say-so in what happens with your own body and all that shit. I feel like the shit's done hit the fan. It's a lot more complicated than it was before, but it's not really all that complicated. Something else is going on. But I can still just get that shit out, because I'm, it's their soul consciousness is in me. But it's also the entity attachments. And from what I heard a couple of days ago, they left. I don't know if I really believe that. They're connected somehow. They have to be connected somewhere. Like I say, they stole a lot of my shit. I almost got, some of my consciousness, soul consciousness, like spine and shit last night. So they somewhere. But she participated in his mutilation and threw him off the yacht. And when I saw her memories of it, because she is spirit, she sees astrally, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't swallow it. When I saw where my friend is now in that timeline, that shit was just so devastating. I just went into like almost a catatonic state. I couldn't fucking... I can't accept it because it's just too traumatizing. It's very, very traumatizing. But I got to, if it's reality and I'm denial, I speak with my brother and I know that there's certain, weird shit going on. I'm not going to negate that, but, if I see my dad, parents, that's what I see. And so I just... that's why I went to them readers at 8704 Broadway. Hope they doing okay today. Someone's urging me to go over there and, get something. Like, nah, especially in this circumstance now. I think Cassandra Nunez is still on that ship. And she was the one with the mall extension. She was called Polarity Roses, and it was a house that the Rothschilds and them, the Illuminati, Mountbatten Windsors, the royal family in England gave to her. The heavy spiritual oppression. I wish I would have, I feel like I can still do something about it now, despite what I'm being told. I'm being told, oh, you can't see it, but you stuck and you You know, I can move around. I was told we're going to do something where you can't move. All you see is your legs. And that's not going on. I can still move around, do things. But there's some more. I got to nip this shit in the bud. And I've been saying that to myself for quite some time. It's just trying to build myself up every single fucking day and dealing with that as a possible reality. Like I say, that's why I went to them tarot readers. So I can get a second opinion. You know, I know them roaches don't fucking lie for the most part. And I know something's been weird with my reality ever since that day. I don't want to do anything fucked up. I don't want to fuck myself up. You know, I would try to jump back in, but the timeline would be blocked or something. She would put entity attachments. Almost jumped into the roach room a couple of times. You know, almost jumping out my body. And I'm like, that's fucking scary. It's an American Motel in Santa Monica, which is, you don't have to stay. Shouldn't have went there. I fucked up. I made so many missteps, but I'm still alive. I'm still in the running. I can still see my legs. I was told that they would give me to a place to where I can only see white. You know, they're trying to get rid of my entity attachments. You know, bearing Samity, and then with warning me, don't get that phone. They say that there's something about that phone. They in your shit. And you had that came on. I felt shit moving around and all of that. And my spirit team would try to fix it, but I needed a second phone in case this breaks. You know, what do you do without a phone? I can't play frequency. They can fuck with your third eye. You know, your third eye, all of that shit's gone. You fuck. But on your phone, you still got frequency. And if everything else fails, and I like working with frequency because it's accurate. You know, it can put you right back together to where you need to be. You can't do that with anything else. Trying to put Bear and Samity back together, and you know, I felt Prince Philip, you know, taking them over and shit early this morning. Leg wise, I can't reconcile. I can't deal with that reality, and on top of that, I can't deal with the reality of being energy harvested fucking bad, really, really fucking bad, and having your shit taken from you every single fucking day. You know, and I shouldn't just, I gotta do something about all of this shit. I shouldn't just deal with it. I gotta do something about this. Something gotta be done. Because I can't, if that transpired, I you know, certain help from my parents, you know, even Satan had to step in to help, Santa Muerte. Certain help from my parents. You know, Illuminati, you know, already are making themselves my higher selves. You know, the Rothschild Mountbattens, they were trying to hide on the roach attachments. Like I say, there were timelines where we made ourselves the Illuminati. They actually brought saffron oil. And I was told safflower oil would work, but from what I hear, none of that really works. It would be saffron. I brought rose water, which seems to, you know, and I did that organically without the advice of them poor compromised roach spirits, where I saw it broke their etheric shield. From what I understand in the spirit plane, I don't know about the physical, but I noticed that it helped out significantly. I don't wear it. You know, I was told to get peppermint oil, but it seems to eliminate my spirit team. You know, so I'm not, you know, gonna fuck with that or take any chances. I don't, just fucking with the frequency, and that's about it. I noticed that motherfuckers were getting happy the minute they heard about it coming. And they don't come into my timelines, you know. The minute you have it in your timelines, they don't come. So that don't make any sense. The 7,010 hertz is working to keep them at bay. My mother, roach attachment of her, who was still in that timeline, who helped me get back, was telling me about that. She was like, just get that, you know. I tried using this one day, and they were, I tried using that one day, frankincense and myrrh, And I could feel the royal family like overnight taking over my consciousness, removing my connection. My parents, Napoleon and Linda Williams here. Two hertz. Connection to God. Hired. It was fucked up. And I saw they were under the demiurge or some shit like that. Had me deep under that motherfucker. So with that being said, it's just depressing. Trying to fuck with my roach attachments. They were blocking them. I could hear her, one night in the back of my consciousness, subconscious, speaking. Usually when that's done, I say, well, a couple of spirits do that, and weren't they included. When they do that, they're trying to pull you into a hell realm by pulling, down your consciousness. So I played 8127 hertz, which repels curses. 84 hertz, which is a lot stronger. 1.5 million hertz. I keep hearing the Macarena song, and I was told in that timeline where they got Kanye West after taking him out of his body. It's ineffably 2017. The Macarena guys made a comeback, and they almost, in my original timeline hours, made a comeback. I was told in one timeline they couldn't fuck with him, and it was one where he was spiritually smart about things. I forgot what it was, but he refused to make a deal with him. It was something along those lines. He got spared. It was like Christina Aguilera. Only one timeline she got soul swapped, and her mother made sure she got back in, and I need to do that. I can do that. I'm supposed to be the successor to Hecate and all that shit. Diet Coleman sold me as do that, help them get my powers through that Beast of the Apocalypse shit. Like I said, I saw LA underwater. I also heard, too, that if I came to that friend I told y'all about, who got a mansion in that timeline, coming from having, 500, paying for a $500 nice Santa Monica apartment, kind of, is it? Not to believe it, telling him that LA is underwater. Don't listen. And his ancestors they're no joke, they're Native American. They're spiritually powerful people. And I have the utmost respect for Native Americans, utmost. They and my ancestors, Africans, they dealt with shit like spacecrafts. You actually, I heard the Illuminati would use this knowledge against me. You actually have UFOs that's attached to you in the spirit plane that comprises of your ancestors. I had the Heru, the the Nubians. Dr. Yark called them. Those are one of the Watcher types. Another one of mine was the Nomos. It's a bunch. And remember I heard that they put entity attachments on me, which is spirits were blocking them, made me see shit. I don't know. That's why I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is going on with this. Because I heard following after this, it'll be giant fucking spiders from the astral plane that will be physical, and then just walking right into Santa Muerte's hell realm. And I don't want that. That's just, I just feel like it's highly unfair. It's a very fucked up situation to be in. And I also heard Demiurge. It's something about the incarnation of He wanting to control that, and I need to get on my shit about it. In timelines where I went to be able to sell, everything's, normal and copacetic. I heard, like, they were going to set it up so that I go through some tragedy. I'm born back in, 1993 as a young man in one of their families, one of the 13 bloodlines, and made the sacrifice automatically. There's no way of getting around it. I'll just have two deviations, and that's about it. Two deviations, two paths, you want to call it. So it's something about wanting to covet it, so I need to get some control over this shit, get my power back, put back their insanity. I'm just trying to fucking remember. That's some evil shit. I'm trying to set it up so that, destiny for that shit is just never ending. There was something else I wanted to mention, but I wanted to say dealing with all of that, it's just, it's very hard to deal with. I have my consciousness pulled out by this nigga bitch. I can't stand that Meghan Markle motherfucker. Something needs to be done about her. Something got to be done. Or they had two kids full of light so that they can redeem themselves. Very similar to how Queen Mother sound like an insectoid when you hear that name, Queen Mother. Like you think of ants and shit. And ants actually in the spirit plane they build. That motherfucker, they feed off of rape. And, I heard Prince Harry, for instance, Princess Diana was telling him one day when he didn't want to do some, royal family function bullshit. One of they do this, which was to haul, kids, mainly African kids into a meat grinder. She told him, I'll put you on the bus after walking him to the bus or some shit like that. I'll put you on the bus and let you take the bus and let somebody kidnap you, and we ain't gonna pay the ransom. So that's the type of people they are.